Hello, dear students. This is the third part of the series we prepared for students getting ready for the Tolc-e exam. I am here with the third episode. Again, friends, we continue solving questions from a sample exam we obtained from their own website. Now, friends, we are solving the 28th question from that sample. Let's solve the question. Let's see what it says. If our y is equal to this, it asks us for the equivalent of x in terms of y. When we examine the options, the first thing we need to do is here, I will perform cross multiplication. That is y, I will multiply it with this expression. And I will isolate x. So what will happen if I multiply? A times y minus. I am multiplying this expression with that one by one. My dear, minus bxy. On the right side, there is ax minus b. Now, to isolate x, my friends, I need to gather the expressions with x on one side. So let's move this to that side. I will also move the minus b over there. What will it be? It will be ay plus b. Here you have ax. When we move this to that side, it will be plus bxy. Now here, as you can see, x's are common. Therefore, we take the x out of the parentheses. Ay plus b equals. If we take x out of the parentheses, what will remain? A plus by will remain. Now I'm dividing both sides by a plus by. So what did we do to a plus by? We divided it. These canceled each other out. So the thing we call x became ay plus b divided by a plus by. I am looking to see which option is there. Now, when I look at option A, there is a plus b on top. Below, there is a plus b. So my answer should be Adana. All right, friends, let's continue with the next question. Let's see what it says to us. A parabola question. It says that y equals x squared plus 4x plus c is the equation of the parabola. So what do we know? Our parabola intersects the x-axis at one point. What does it say? What is c? It asks us. It's asking about the c here. Now, I will give some information about the parabola. Then I will solve the question. Now, fx equals ax squared plus, what do we call the graph of functions in the form of bx plus c? We call it a parabola. Now, if the a here is greater than 0, what happens to our parabola? Arms up. If a, what is happening with sub-zero class arms? Down. Now, what do we do to find the axes and intercepts of our parabola? We set x to 0. Friends, we find y. We set y to 0. What do we find? We find x. Now, in this question, our parabola intersects x80 at a point. Now, what do we do to find the point where it intersects x80? We set y to 0, since our fx is equal to y. Therefore, when we say x2 plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Since we know it intersects x80 at a point, this means the following. This parabola is tangent to x80 and has a single root. If a quadratic expression has a single root, friends, its delta is equal to 0. So what was our delta? Delta was b squared minus 4ac. Then our parabola here is fx equals. Since it is x squared plus 4x plus c, therefore our b value here is 4, a value is 1, and c value is already c. Friends, what needs to happen? B squared minus 4ac should be 0. It needs to be equalized. So I'm doing it, friends. 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times my a value, which is 1. C. I already don't know. 0. I equaled it. 16 equals 4c. Well, when we divide both sides by 4, what did we find for c? We found 4. What will the answer be to e? Let's call this the second method. Friends, delta equals. If it's 0, such expressions are perfect squares. Being a perfect square means, as we mentioned earlier, it has one repeated root, or two roots at the same point, or that this expression has two of the same factor. That is, x squared plus 4x plus c equals. When I want to factorize 0 factors of x times x, when we cross multiply the factors of c here, what should it give? It should give the middle term. Now, for it to be 4x, what should these be? They should be 2, because when we cross multiply, what will happen? We can reach 4x from 2x plus 2x. In this case, what does multiplying 2 by 2 give? Friends, it gives c, which is 4. Let me remind you again. If our parabola is tangent to the x-axis or intersects the x-axis at a point, it must be a perfect square. Therefore, the change in value is 0, or what will we do in this way? We will solve it. Friends, see you in the next question. Take good care of yourselves.